Good evening and welcome to the first and hopefully only online Varsity Awards. It'd be nice to have an online piece in the future that accompanies our in-person awards night, but you're not really sure based on this year's events. I'm Jerry Mackey, the athletic director at Oneonta High School, and first, a few thank yous. Thank you to Wanda Gracie, Kathy Zaleski, Kathy Hassick, Kim Eastman, and Bree Thompson, the secretaries and the nurse at the school, at the high school level that deal with me every day, which is a difficult job, as my wife and children would attest to. But I couldn't imagine this first year in the job without you guys there. From behind the scenes stuff to upfront stuff to things to troubleshoot to things to help bail me out of trouble from, it's all been an interesting journey, but I couldn't imagine it without you guys. A thanks to the janitorial staff and the building and grounds crew and the bus garage people and the coaches and the parents and the athletes and the administration and the teachers. It all becomes a village. And we talk all the time about 21 sports, one team. And we're 7 buildings in one school district. And I really, truly believe that and want to keep embracing that. And I think Mr. Brindley at the highest level does too, as well as our board and Mrs. Woolstone and Mr. Ballard. You can't do this by yourself. And it's not fun if you're trying to, as we see, trying to do all the stuff from your own homes without the interaction day to day. So thank you so much to them. To Mr. Hughes, I will say a tongue-in-cheek thank you for retiring last June 30th. Just in the nick of time. Just before all the construction dismantled most of the locker rooms, and we have our boys soccer team trying to pursue a state title out of the backs of their cars, and we got girls soccer players meeting at the Hall of Fame, and we got football players that are going around the back side of the building to get in the locker room at halftime, and all the different things that came with that. And the girls swimmers, you have a fall swim season, and you're getting on a bus and going to Delhi, and you're going to Sydney, and you're going to Hartwick, and Oneonta State. And thank you to all those schools for helping us out in our time of need as far as facilities. And you guys handled like champs. You guys could have whined and complained about it, and you probably did at some level, but you understood. And we tried to make it the best we could as soon as we could. Now we have an amazing pool, an amazing locker room facility about to come online, and an amazing fitness center about to eventually come online. And all those things are progress, but I know in the middle of it doesn't seem like it if you're the one being impacted. So thanks to that. The COVID-19 situation, which out of nowhere pops up, and now we're getting seasons delayed, and then eventually, unfortunately, canceled. And all the spring sport athletes and coaches and parents, that stuff was taken away from you with no real notice. And many of you came to adjust on the fly as best you could. So we're trying to make sure that you were safe, we were safe, things were done as best we could, and hence the solution for Varsity Awards. Because we think there are 9 amazing award winners. And we think there's amazing times for our Scholar athletes and our Kathy Lynch Award and the different presenters that are willing to come in and be taped for this. And thank you to the administration for allowing that to happen at the very end. So we're here. To Mrs. Stalder, to Mr. Hecox, to Mrs. Ward, to the others involved, Jeremiah and Steve and Bonnie and others behind the scenes that have done things to help make this possible, we thank you. Now, turning our attention to the recent events. I know Mr. Brindley put out a letter on behalf of our district. And I know I've reached out individually to my own team athletes. But now I'd like to speak to you as an administration in charge of athletics. 21 sports, JV, varsity, modified, various levels. We have all kinds of student athletes involved in that. All kinds of socioeconomic issues. We have all kinds of gender issues. We have all kinds of race issues. And I realize all those things need to be tackled. And our school district's trying to do an amazing job of pushing out food and getting out help to different social groups that need things. But I'd like to talk directly to my athletes of color right now, because I realize there's lots of issues in the world, but right now yours are the most front and center. So I want to make sure that you hear that our athletic department cares. We're in this together. We can't relate, but we can empathize. And we can be a listener. And we can have dialogue. And we can start conversations. And we can give positive feedback back and forth about what needs to change, what can change, what would you like to see different. And we don't have all the answers, but we have good hearts. We have minds that can think. We have ears willing to listen. And if you want support, reach out. Many of my colleagues and many of our athletes were at the rally in Oneonta. We're at the rally in Cooperstown. One of our former student athletes spoke in Cooperstown, in Bryce Wooden. And so we just want you to hear that we hear you. We see you. And I don't want that to be taken for granted. I'm going to keep challenging all of my colleagues in teaching and in coaching and in both, because a lot of times they're interchangeable. Many things are learned in the context of teams that maybe you're not getting in your classroom. And we're going to try to push everybody to be better, to understand the inequalities, to push for social justice, to help safely guide discussions and conversations, and the passion that this generation has that's going to help change so many of these things. And I'm happy to be involved in a small piece of it. So on behalf of the athletic department and my colleagues and all the student athletes in Oneonta High School, past, present, and future, we're going to keep pushing the envelope and keep pushing the direction that we all need to go. And many times I don't have the right words. I just have words. I'm here. I'm available. You have my email. Most or all, you have my cell phone. You know my school district office phone. Start there. Start with your favorite teacher. Start with your favorite coach. Start with an administrator. Whoever. Don't feel like a rudderless ship. Try to get anchored somewhere, and we'll help you in whatever way we can. Right? Another one of our student athletes, Sengeti Daniels, also spoke in Cooperstown. A great speech, a passionate speech. And those are the things we want. The minds and the thought and the intellect and the well-intentioned movements. Because we don't always know what we don't know. And so as we get ready for this Varsity Awards evening, I did just want to take a moment to pause and say, keep working. Keep using your voice. Our coaches and our colleagues will hopefully help as well, and we'll keep moving forward together. Thank you. Now we turn our attention directly to our athletes. The Kathy Lynch Patron of Athletics Award is given to members of our school community who have gone above and beyond in supporting the Oneonta High School athletic program, its coaches, and its student athletes. The individuals who we recognize this year have certainly had a positive impact on our athletic program day in and day out. Vince Lombardi once said, individual commitment to a group effort, that is what makes a team work, a company work, a society work, a civilization work. In the Oneonta High School community, it takes the commitment of many individuals. Students, athletes, coaches, staff members, administrators, parents, and community members to make our sports teams, quote unquote, work. In this time of COVID-19, we have all learned more than ever the importance of the essential workers, those who never get paid for what they are truly worth, but who we cannot operate without. Whether an athlete, coach, parent, or fan, we come to sporting events held in our gyms, on our fields, and in our pool. We cheer for our student athletes through the losses and many victories. But do we ever think about work that is done so that each of these games, competitions, and even practices can take place? Who is that sets up these events, sweeps and mops our floors, makes sure all the parts of our athletic facilities are properly cleaned and equipped before, during, and after many of our events? It never seems like very much until this work does not get done. The Indonesian president once said, there are two kinds of heroes. Heroes who shine in the face of great adversity, who perform an amazing feat in a difficult situation, and heroes who do their work unceremoniously, unnoticed by many of us, who make a difference in the lives of others. The unsung heroes that we honor this year are the Oneonta High School custodial staff, who not only keep our facilities clean and properly equipped, but they cheer on our coaches and students. You can often see them wearing an OHS shirt, supporting many of our fundraisers, rooting for the kids, all the while doing whatever they may do to unlock this door, clean up that mess, or refill the toilet paper on command. Too many of these unsung heroes may be nameless, but to so many more of us, they are a big part of our Oneonta High School athletic family. It is with great pleasure and appreciation that I thank and congratulate the recipients of the 2020 Kathy Lynch Patron of Athletics Award. The Oneonta High School custodial staff, Tim Backus, Tom Burns, Joe Perry, Rich Baird, Josh Vanderwerker, Robert Wright, Victor Van Steenberg, Doug Lindberg, Tim Tolley, Doug Card, Chris Koff, and Eric Johnson. And a reminder to us all, take time today to appreciate someone who does something you all take for granted. Thank you very much, and congratulations. Truly great selections this year for Kathy Lynch's award. Our next awards are Scholar Athlete and Sportsmanship winners. A well-deserved award to our athletes and coaches. Scholar Athlete Award is based on overall GPA during your season, and sportsmanship is awarded by our coaches. As the coaches and the kids know, this is very important. Not only taking care of business in the classroom, but being a good teammate on and off the field. And so many of these kids have been doing this for many, many seasons, and it's great that we're able to give some voice and some name recognition to some of these kids. Each sport that follows has two recipients. The first is the top scholar athlete for the marking period of that particular season. The second is a sportsmanship award winner as selected by their coach. Unfortunately, we're not able to select these recipients for the spring sports season. Another sad reality of our current situation. Girls cross country, Sam Ficano, Ting Poon. Boys cross country, Jacob Yours and Jacob Yours. Golf, Max Gelsman, Kevin Kurkowski. Girls swim, Alexandra Boxel-Yakulas and Veronica Coe. Football, Lucas Brakey and Quentin Bissell-Smith. Volleyball, Willow Sunderland, Elizabeth Seraphin. Boys soccer, Nate Kuhlman and Hastings Otiano. Girls soccer, Olivia O'Donnell and Yulia Johnson. Wrestling, Andrew Lodner and Quentin Bissell-Smith. Boys swim, Ian House, Owen Schultz. Cheerleading, Natalia Legname and Katie Cleveland. Bowling, Devin Laux and Devin Laux. Girls indoor, Olivia O'Donnell and Olivia O'Donnell. Boys indoor, Bradley Morrell. Mr. Hughes, are you even allowed to have both? There's a lot of double winners in a row. All right, let's keep it rolling. Girls basketball, Angeline McGraw, Maria Farrell. Boys basketball, Aiden Mackey, Kai Atchison. And now our first presenter of the evening is Coach Randy Brockway. Take it away, Coach.
The Service and Athletics Award goes to an individual who not only participates in athletics at a very high level, but to someone who is involved in a variety of school and community services. The recipient's contributions to OHS athletics go beyond participation on the fields and courts. It stretches into the classroom and the community. This year's recipient has been a three-sport athlete throughout her 4 years at OHS. She has also had a strong academic career and has been a scholar athlete all 4 years. She is a member of the National Honor Society, Spanish Honor Society, National Technical Honor Society, an FBLA member, a SAD member, Student Council, Service Club, Spanish Club, a Link Crew leader, a recent award winner of highest average on softball, and the Sportsmanship Award for basketball. She also was awarded the High Five Award at OHS this past winter. And these are just to name a few. In soccer, The recipient played 4 years on varsity, where she was a 3-year starter. Mr. Mackey said she is a great defender and a great teammate. She had tremendous leadership, especially the last 2 seasons. Mr. Mackey describes her as a great character kid that has represented OHS so well her entire career. In basketball, the recipient was a 6-year program player from the middle school to her senior varsity year. She was a 2-year varsity starter as well. Mr. Miller said the recipient has been an absolute joy to coach the past 2 seasons. She has done anything and everything he ever asked her to do. She's been one of the hardest workers and absolutely one of the best teammates he has coached the past 2 seasons. Mr. Miller also said she has extremely high character and always puts the team ahead of any self-interest. Her strength, athleticism, competitiveness, and leadership has been valuable assets to our varsity program the past 2 years, and she will certainly be missed next season. In softball, the recipient has been a varsity starter for the past 3 seasons. She's extremely versatile and can play nearly any position on the field. She found a home at first base, but could easily fill in at any spot where need be. Our program has been extremely lucky to have her for the past 3 seasons. She is the fastest athlete on our team and has the ability to get a game going offensively when others can't. She is our leadoff batter and is a speedy left-handed slap hitter. She worked extremely hard in the offseason to become a triple threat offensively with bunting, slapping, and most recently, swinging away. She led the team last year with stolen bases and has maintained over a .320 batting average for her career. She is a dream to coach, a wonderful teammate, fiercely competitive, and a determined athlete. It's nothing short of heartbreaking to not have the opportunity to coach her throughout her senior season. I will miss her as well as the team, her never-ending work ethic, her desire to be a great teammate, her fun personality, and her leadership abilities next season. This year's recipient will be attending Lemoyne College in the fall and will be majoring in biology on a pre-med track and eventually go into their physician's assistant's program school. I'm proud to announce that this year's recipient of the Service and Athletics Award goes to the wonderfully talented and gifted Maria Farrell. Congratulations.
Thanks, Randy. Appreciate you being here to give the honor. Tim Catella and the Lions Club will now give our next set of awards.
The Virtual Athletic Award was established to provide your coaches the opportunity to honor a senior athlete that did not always get all the accolades or headlines, but was the type of athlete that showed up every day with a positive attitude, willing to work hard for team goals and self-improvement. Our winner this year exemplifies these criteria. A multi-sport athlete, earning letters in soccer, indoor, and outdoor track, establishing school records in 2 running events. She is the type of athlete that wanted to improve in every drill, every practice, and every competition. She always did the small things, and she did them well. Most importantly, Olivia is considered a great teammate and friend by her peers. Her talents will be on display this fall at SUNY Oneonta. Congratulations to Olivia O'Donnell, the 2020 Virtual Athletic Award winner. The Dumansky Award is presented to a senior athlete that has excelled in their sports and whose involvement in athletic stems from having participated in our local youth programs. Our winner this year participated in youth soccer and basketball and their associated travel teams. She's a 3-sport athlete in soccer, basketball, and track. A determined athlete, she is considered one of the best defenders during the past few years in stack soccer. One of Danielle's coaches stated that she was always willing to be pushed to become even better. She was a respected team captain of 2 of her teams, including multiple years for the varsity soccer team. She's a fierce competitor who was never intimidated by her competition. She will become a Seminole in the fall when she moves on to Florida State. Our Dumansky Athletic Award winner is Danielle Bestekis.
Thanks. And a fun fact or tidbit, the criteria for these awards is truly a family affair. One was actually written by Tim Catella for the Lions Club, and the other award, turns out, was done earlier by Tim's father, also a Lions Club member. So we appreciate all you and the organization do and have done for this community. Thanks, Tim. Our next presenter is an annual fixture, an OHS alum and an icon at the Oneonta Boys and Girls Club. We can't thank him enough for coming every year, Gary Dalal.
The Carl J. D'Alberto Award is given annually to both a young woman and a young man who used their skills learned as a member of the Oneonta Boys and Girls Club in citizenship as well as athletics. Our winners this year are two of the finest young people that have ever passed through our doors. This year's female winner is the charmingly beautiful and talented Mary Brantley. As a member of the club, Mary played softball and basketball. In both sports, Mary was a skillful, hardworking athlete who was not only fundamentally sound, but also known for her hustle and true grit. She was loved by her coaches and her teammates. In high school, Mary was a 4-year member of the varsity softball team. Coach Brockway described Mary as the ultimate team player, never concerned about her stats, only winning. She was the team's leadoff batter as well as third baseman. As a 4-year member of the soccer team, Mary was a 3-year starter at the midfielder position. Coach Mackey described her as a talented, unselfish player who always took the time to make the young girls feel included and taken care of. As a student athlete at OHS, Mary earned a 97 GPA while taking all advanced courses. Mary, in her spare time, loves to read and paint. She is also a lover of history, and she is one of the founding members of the OHS History Club. This fall, Mary will be taking her talents to Stony Brook University, where she will study political science. Our male winner this year is the athletically gifted Teddy McGraw. Teddy joined the club as a 10-year-old and hit the hardwood running and never looked back. At the club, Teddy participated in just about every program we had, but his favorites were football and basketball. In our flag football league, Teddy earned the nickname Teddy Football as he led his teams to numerous Super Bowl victories. Teddy started out his basketball career in our Mini Hoopsters program, and then he played in our Pickett's basketball program, where he led his team to a championship. Teddy also played basketball on our basketball travel teams, where he was one of the most skillful players we ever had, as well as an extraordinary teammate. In high school, Teddy excelled as a two-sport athlete in basketball and in baseball. Teddy was a member of the varsity basketball team since the 8th grade. Unfortunately, he was injured for his senior year, but Teddy still finished with 916 career points, even without scoring a single point in his senior year. Coach Mackey described Teddy as a talented all-around player that could change things on both ends, offensive and defensively. Anyone who saw him play can remember the amazing blocks, rebounds, and that sweet shooting touch. Coach Mackey also added that Teddy is a great teammate who showed tremendous leadership, and it was especially helpful for the younger guys in the program. Coach Mackey also added that Teddy is a great teammate who showed tremendous leadership, especially for the younger guys in the program, and described Teddy as a selfless, humble athlete who achieved great grades and has great character. His awards are numerous. Some of them include 2-time All-League selection, 2-time Section 4 All-Star, and an All-State selection in basketball in his junior year. Coach Mackey also added the only reason why he isn't playing college basketball is because he earned a scholarship to play baseball at Wake Forest. As a high school baseball player, Teddy was in the OHS baseball program for 6 years, 4 years on varsity as a starter. Teddy was a 3-year All-State and All-League player. Heading into this season, Teddy had pitched 50 innings and had 96 strikeouts. Teddy achieved this mostly by pitching against the top teams in the league. During his entire high school career, he only gave up 7 hits in a total of 50 innings. His ERA was .028. Both of these are just truly amazing statistics. Teddy was also a tremendous position player who had a batting average of over 400 for his career. According to Coach Hughes, he is clearly considered to be one of the top baseball players in OHS history. He is considered the top pitcher in OHS history, as well as one of the top all-around athletic talents that OHS has ever had. Congratulations to both Mary and Teddy. The club is very proud of both of you. We miss you very much and can't wait to give you both a hug.
For those of you that have attended in the past, we'd all be laughing at some type of barb at this point, or zinger from Gary D, that directs it at Joe Hughes. They spent many, many years together back in the day and since in Oneonta. But a sincere thanks to him and the Boys and Girls Club. The legacy of Carl D'Alberta and his son, and now his family, is so important and appreciated by all, and especially relevant for the athletic program at OHS. Thanks, Gary. Our next award segment is for our 3-sport athletes. This has always been a special one to Joe Hughes, an amount of time commitment and energy and attention to detail it takes to stay organized enough to do 3 sports and off-season conditioning stuff and maybe off-season travel things. And many of you I know hold down jobs at different points. So it's an amazing accomplishment. The coaches are appreciative. The colleagues that I have here on the staff and as well as in the building cannot thank you enough for all that you've done to incorporate all your time here at the high school. So our 3-sport athletes for this year are Danielle Bastekas, soccer, basketball, and track. She's headed to Florida State University in the fall. Quentin Bissell Smith, football, wrestling, and track, headed uphill to SUNY Oneonta. Lucas Brakey, football, indoor track, and baseball, headed to SUNY Delhi. Lucas Burrows, soccer, indoor track, and baseball. He's headed to the Marine Corps this fall. William Dent, soccer, indoor track, and track, headed to Alfred University. Maria Farrell, soccer, basketball, and softball, headed to Lemoyne. Jacob Yorsi, cross country, indoor track, and regular track, headed to SUNY Oneonta. Morgan Gibson, soccer, indoor track, and track, headed to SUNY Cortland. Lane Johnson, volleyball, basketball, and lacrosse, also headed to the Marine Corps. Jillian LaHood, swimming, indoor track, and track, headed to SUNY New Paltz. Bradley Morrell, soccer, indoor track, headed to Cornell. Olivia O'Donnell, soccer, indoor track, headed to SUNY Oneonta. Ting Poon, cross country, indoor track, and tennis, headed to Boston University. Elizabeth Seraphin, volleyball, indoor track, and track, headed to SUNY Cortland. And Clarissa Shaw, volleyball, indoor track, headed to SUNY Albany. Congratulations, guys and girls. It's an amazing accomplishment. For those of you that obviously aren't in school, we'll get these awards to you. There's been some hiccups on the production end because obviously many of these places aren't in phase 4 yet. So the minute they all get produced, I will get them to you either in the summer or certainly when you're home on break in the fall. So hold tight, you'll get your awards and all those different things, whether it is your Varsity O, whether it's the little icon for your sport or a specific award here tonight. Everybody will get those things in a timely fashion. So rest easy. Again, just an unintended consequence of all this chaos, but we're working hard to make sure all things get to you properly. Now introducing Randy Brockway for the second time. Thanks, Coach.
The Anthony C. Drago Award is given to an athlete who displays the highest degree of coachability, sportsmanship, competitive spirit, work ethic, and the conscious effort to fulfill athletic gifts. This award is of utmost distinction and it is considered and awarded by the coaches for whom this player has played for. There is usually not much of an argument when giving out this award, as this athlete stands out among their peers and competition. This year's recipient has been a two-sport varsity athlete for the past 4 years in both soccer and softball. She is a fierce competitor and also a strong team leader. She values hard work, both academically and athletically, on the ball fields. She takes athletics seriously and wants to be the best when she's in competition. She takes great pride in being strong mentally and physically. In soccer, the recipient was a 4-year varsity starter. She was selected as a 3-time All-League athlete. Mr. Mackey said she was a tremendous leader and had the ability to move easily from defense to offense and back again. She was considered a lockdown defender and was a tremendous weapon as a target player on corners and restarts. She had great leadership and helped to bring young players along quickly in the program. The only reason she isn't going to be a college soccer player is because she has chosen to move on from that, Mr. Mackey said. In softball, the recipient was a 4-year varsity starter. She has been a Stack All-Star nominee for the past 2 seasons as our shortstop. She was selected to be a captain this year by her teammates and has held that responsibility since last season. She has been a team leader both on and off the field for us and always practices what she preaches. She is the backbone and the heart of our defense. She has the ability to make plays that make you scratch your head. Some infielders may call her selfish because she literally believes that any ball that is hit belongs to her. She has always been a powerhouse when it comes to offense. She has maintained one of the highest batting averages in our program for the past 3 seasons. She has the ability to hit the ball out of the ballpark or lay down a bunt when the defense is on their heels. She has been a tremendous joy to coach over the past 4 seasons, and I'm certainly heartbroken to not had the chance to coach her this season for her senior year. The recipient will be attending Boston University in the fall and will be majoring in business. She will be trying out for the softball team and certainly has the potential and desire to make it. This year's Anthony C. Drago Award winner is the talented and athletic Meredith Smithling. Congratulations.
Well-deserved award. Thank you, Mr. Brocker, for taking care of that. And now on to Mr. Forbes. Mr. Forbes has been a long-time cross-country and track coach here, and he's now going to introduce tonight's winner.
The Anthony C. Drago Award is presented to an athlete who exhibits the following characteristics: their ability to be coached, they demonstrate sportsmanship, have a strong team spirit, put forth strong work ethics, and work hard to fulfill their athletic gifts and talents. This year's award winner has exhibited these characteristics in each of the sports in which he has participated during his high school years: soccer, basketball, winter track and field, spring track and field. Well, it was on the spring track and field team that he excelled and made his finest marks. As a freshman, he joined the throw squad of the spring track and field team. Its members had shirts that stated, "We can't catch, so we throw." For most of the squad, that might have been true. But for the recipients' participation as goalie on the soccer team and center on the basketball teams shows that he could catch objects equally as well. By this time, you all know that I'm speaking of Brad Morrell. As a freshman, Brad spent his practice sessions performing the daily drills and watching the veteran throwers to learn all the skills he could effectively for throwing the shot and the discus. At night, he would spend time watching videos to pick up bits of information that would help him improve his throw technique. And by the time he was a junior, Brad knew more about throwing the shot and disc than I did. And he was always willing to share his knowledge with his fellow throwers. Achieving excellence was a constant quest for Brad. There were times that I had to go to the shot and disc circle to remind him that practice was over. In the end, Brad's hard work paid off, not only for himself, but for those on the throw squad that he worked with. He had a knack to peak with his athletic gifts at the perfect time of the season, the New York State Championship track and field meet. In the spring of 2019, Brad entered an extremely competitive discus competition for the state Division II athletes. He and a couple of other throwers were outdoing themselves each time they did their throws. Pressure mounted as each athlete threw. However, I was impressed with the encouragement the throwers gave each other as they entered the circle to throw. When it came down to the last throw for each of the competitors, the thrower before Brad put forth the best throw of the day. Brad looked at me before entering the circle to throw, and he said, "Well, Coach, I guess I have to throw it a little further this time." And he did, setting a school record of 167 feet 2 inches and winning the Division II state meet championship. Then in his senior year, Brad qualified in both the weight throw and shot put to attend the Winter Track and Field Championship meet on Staten Island. He didn't win this time, but he did set the school record for the weight throw at 57 feet 1 inch and the school record for the indoor shot throw at 53 feet 3 inches, and finishing that event in the shot in third place. This spring was frustrating for him since the goal was to return to the New York State Championship track and field meet and seek another championship performance and another school record. We are all proud of your achievements, Brad, and wish you the best of luck in your years at Cornell University, both in the classroom and in the track and field circles. We will miss your warm personality and inspiration you pass on to those with whom you work. These traits have been a blessing to those you spent your time with at Oneonta High School, and I'm certain will be a blessing to all you encounter throughout your life. Best of luck, and it's great to be your friend.
Thanks, Dave. And as many of you know, Brad's state title now banner hangs in the gym underneath the basketball hoop. So if and when we're ever allowed back in the building, make sure you take a peek at that. The next award is a peer vote for the awards, both female and male side. To vote, you had to be a varsity athlete in at least one sport this particular year. Without further ado, this year's Female Athlete of the Year is presented by Brady Cotter.
This year's Female Athlete of the Year goes to a very talented young lady who I have had the pleasure of working with for 5+ track seasons. She's competed for OHS in soccer, cheerleading, indoor track and field, and outdoor track and field. She jumped into this track scene as a freshman, winning Athlete of the Meet honors at the Cooperstown Invitational by winning the 100-meter long jump and helping the 4x100-meter relay team to a win. After an injury hampered her sophomore track season, she decided to focus on being the best track athlete she could and join the indoor track team her junior year. Her dedication and work through the winter and into the outdoor season came to fruition at the Class C championship meet that spring. After the semis, Morgan Gibson was in contention to win the long jump, but in the first jump of finals, a girl from Lansing pushed her back into second place. Morgan was up next, and not wanting to give in or be outdone, jumped a new PR personal record of 16 feet 6 inches, only 4 inches off of the school record. She was ecstatic. On the second jump in finals, the girl from Lansing tied her. Morgan was up next, and she flew down the runway and jumped as high in the air as she could go and stretched for the landing. I knew it was a big jump the moment I saw her leave the ground, and the official called out 17 feet 3 3/4 of an inch. I was stunned and asked the official to repeat it because I didn't know if Morgan had heard the distance. The next thing I knew, Morgan was screaming and running around the infield, so excited to have won and breaking the school record in the process. All the hard work on the track and in the weight room starting back in November, preparing physically and mentally, had paid off. Unfortunately, this year's spring season has been canceled, so we couldn't see how this year's season would have turned out after having such an outstanding winter track season. She had qualified for 4 events in the 2020 Section 4 Indoor Track and Field Championships. Congratulations, Morgan Gibson, on being this year's Female Athlete of the Year.
Thanks, Brady. And now on to Mr. Mushter for the male winner.
It is my honor to have been asked to introduce the 2020 Male Athlete of the Year. This year's recipient is Graham Wooden, who is a great athlete, a great student, and a great kid. Graham is the type of athlete that could have excelled at any sport. During his career at OHS, he played football, a little bit of baseball, but his true passion was basketball. Graham played 4 years of varsity football and played 5 years of varsity basketball. He was a starter on the basketball team from his freshman year until the end of his high school career this past February. On the football team, Graham played 5 different positions. As a quarterback, he threw 99 completions for 1,085 yards and threw 9 touchdowns. As a running back, he had 99 carries, 625 yards, and 7 touchdowns. As a receiver, he had 59 receptions, 759 yards, 12 touchdowns, and he is 3rd on the OHS all-time career receptions list. As a basketball player, Graham finished as the all-time leading scorer in OHS boys basketball history with 1,267 points, one of only 4 young men to have scored 1,000 points at OHS. He was 3 times first-team All-STAC, 3 times he was the All Basketball Coaches Association of New York for Section 4, and 3 times he was an All-State selection. But the stats don't tell the whole story of Graham Wooden. Graham was a spark that lit the fire for his teammates in both football and basketball. As a sophomore playing in the football Section 4 final with his team down 20-0 in the 3rd quarter, Graham made a catch, broke 3 tackles, and ran for a 55-yard touchdown. His personal effort energized his teammates to continue to fight on. As a junior, he led by example and quietly amassed 35 receptions, which is just short of the single-season record. But his coaches noticed something more important, that he was becoming the leader of the team. Graham led by example, working hard every day and giving those around him an example to follow while providing constant positive encouragement to all of his teammates. As a senior, playing in his last home football game against Ithaca, he addressed the team before the game, at halftime, and constantly on the sidelines. His no-quit attitude and leadership lifted his team to a comeback 43-41 victory. Now, I don't know a lot about basketball, but I can tell you that Graham can shoot, dribble, defend, rebound, and he always seems to know right where to be to make great things happen. I also know that I have never seen anyone hustle around the court like Graham. If any of you watching want to be great basketball players, learn to hustle like Graham. I can quote Coach Mackey, who said, "Graham is one of the top leaders and overall players in school history. He did an amazing job these last 5 years, and his work ethic, team-first attitude, and attention to detail are great legacies to leave imprinted on the program and all the young players in it." Graham will play at Division II Mansfield next year on a partial basketball scholarship. Mansfield is getting a great athlete, a great student, and a great young man. We will miss him and wish him all the best. Congratulations, Graham, 2020 Male Athlete of the Year.
Appreciate that. Obviously, amazing choices all around. Your peers voted for those last 2, So we're so appreciative for all you that voted online this year, a totally new format for everybody. But we made you be online for registration for sports. So the good news was it wasn't that much of a switch for all of you. So that went off about as well as it could. Thank you to Mrs. Stalder as well for helping me with the Google Doc forms to keep track of the votes. And we think we got well-deserved winners for this year. On a separate note, for those that haven't been in school every day or haven't been paying attention, obviously, since we haven't been allowed, Mr. Mushter just got great news a couple weeks ago. He's now been named the new principal at Lawrence Central School District, and he'll be leaving us on July 1st. Coach Mushter has obviously made a huge impact on our athletic program, as well as our physics department, and he'll be missed dearly. So we wish him well as he moves on, and we wish Mr. Neal all the success that he can have in boys football, and as an athletic program, we'll continue to help all coaches and all kids go to their best of their abilities. And as we wrap up this first event at an online Varsity award ceremony, we did the best we could under the circumstances. I'd like to thank all of you, the athletes, the parents, the coaches, the friends, the siblings, the administration, the janitorial staff, the bus drivers, all the food service people, all the things still going on behind the scenes, even though we're not in the building each day. It's been a crazy circumstance. We're lifting this job with the right people. We have amazing people behind the scenes and in front and center and all those things. We have tremendous leadership at the top, and we'll just keep working the problems as we can. I know some of you parents became counselors and friends and support groups for your children when they had their seasons taken away. And I can't put into words how much we were trying. All of you students, you should know we had schedules ready for if we came back with 8 weeks left, 6 weeks left, if we could have a stacked schedule, if we're going to have a chance at a Section 4 championship, if there's going to still be state title pursuits, or if we're just going to get as many games as we could. We had scenarios in place where we were going to get you 2 or 3 games total and play a rival so you had a senior night either way. We cannot imagine the disappointment of losing your senior year, both as an athlete and a day-to-day student walking around the buildings and the hallways. You've handled it well. You'll hopefully come out the other end better for it. We're so proud of everything you've done, and we can't wait to see what you do next. We're rooting for you as you go on. As I say every year to all my students and my athletes, we're not going to forget you. If you need something, reach out. Start with your teammates, your coaches, myself, Mrs. Wolstenholme, Mr. Ballard, Mr. Brinley. There's lots of people here ready and able to help if and when you need something. It's been a tremendous honor and a crazy year to be your AD, but here we are. We got through. We're headed off to summer, even though most of you haven't been in a classroom in months. Be safe, be smart. And again, for many of you, I get this sort of the dichotomy. A lot of you aren't really the ones at risk to become sick in most scenarios, but you're trying to protect somebody else that you do care about, that is a loved one, that maybe does have a different issue with age or pre-existing conditions. So keep doing the best you can. I know the teenage years are difficult to begin with, let alone social distancing and limited groups and all that. But you've done an amazing job so far, and keep helping propel us into the summer so all the rest of the phases can open up and we can get back to hopefully some semblance of normalcy. We wish you well. We're proud of you. Jackets pride forever. And you've been amazing. Thank you.